Good evening, everyone. If anything, the timing has slowed down a bit. We're kind of getting the idea that the graph model, our in-house model from a weather vendor of ours, is probably pretty much right on to what's going to happen. You can see behind me the supercells continue to fire up in Tennessee. Real dangerous night up there so far, but there are some storms firing back to the west. Again, notice the time down here. I recorded this. We will be doing YouTube Live on the WAFF page. So you're going to search for WAFF News and Weather. Subscribe here, subscribe there, so you get all these notifications. We'll also have a Facebook Live going, and this will be coming up a little after 11, maybe 11:30 or so tonight. It's going to be a long night. Let's take a look at the tornado watch till 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, this will be dated depending on when you're watching this. We do expect another tornado watch to be issued to cover the rest of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. And here is the radar as of about 10:30 tonight, actually 10:45 or so. So 10:47. Notice these storms over here trying to fire up. This whole line is eventually going to track east. So when I go hour by hour, that's what you're going to see. And some of these storms really focusing on that high instability over here and a lot of shear. So these tracks here take these storms northeast into northwest Alabama. So put a quick storm track on this area here, back here to the west. And as we move this out over time, in fact, I'm going to have to redo this. I mean, that's accurate there, but it's just not going to cover our area. Do this with actual storms that are out here instead of just the model data. We'll go through the model data in just a second. But these are moving at about 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to do this whole line here. And this is going to, again, move into Florence around 1 o'clock in the morning, but I would say as early as, say, 12:30. So again, that's just the longer you do storm tracks, the more air you're going to have towards the end. Pulaski around 1:30 to 1:46. Russellville 1 to 1:37 or so. Around here, still nothing going on. We don't have any supercells that are firing up, but again, we'll be covering that, anything that happens on that Facebook and YouTube Live with the station page. Here's a look at the updated timeline. We're basically talking between now and 2 a.m. for the severe threat over northwest Alabama. And the reason it's now is because there's a possibility we could get some of these isolated supercells. It's still not out of the question or realm of possibilities that will happen. And then more of a line here from midnight to 4 a.m., Hazel Green, Huntsville, Decatur, Coleman, Addison, down towards Smith Lake, and then Guntersville, Albertville, Boaz, Douglas, Scottsboro, Section, Henniger, Fort Payne at 5, Hammondtown around 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, and that may actually be more like 3. So here's the latest guidance here, a big look at this. I'm covering areas all the way down pretty much Birmingham, Tuscaloosa with this. I'm going to get in a lot closer here as I finish out this broadcast, but you can see this moving in roughly between 12:30 and 1:40 into Florence, Russellville, and if you haven't seen this before, this red area, this is the instability that's coming in as that strong south wind around 30 to 40 miles an hour brings it our way, and that will just continue to build ahead of these storms. And that's one thing we talked about is the fact that the slower this moves, the more instability it's got to work with. So you notice the line gets a little bit better organized here just before 3 o'clock, 2:30 or so, as it's moving into the Huntsville metro area, back towards Moulton, in and around Russellville. Russellville should be positioned a little bit farther north on that map, but if you're from Russellville, you know exactly where it is. As we take a look from Fort Payne down to Boaz, this is 4:20 to 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it's finally moving out. So here, I'm going to leave you guys with hour by hour, kind of close-in zoomed views. This is the latest model guidance that just came out just right before the 10 o'clock newscast. It still has that possibility of a few of these cells firing up ahead of it, and of course we will watch that. And you notice another one showing up near Moulton, and that's around 2:15. So 2:15, we're talking in and around Rogersville, Coxey, northwest side of Athens, Elkton, Ardmore, down to Russellville, Moulton, Town Creek, Cortland, the Mount Hope area, Phil Campbell, and of course Red Bay a little earlier than that. And we continue to see this move through Decatur between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice a bit of a split, a break in this line, so we'll watch these line breaks too. And then just south of Moulton, down towards Smith Lake around 4 in the evening, the morning I should say. And again, it's going to end rather quickly to the west. And tomorrow morning actually starts out really nice. It's going to be a nice weekend, but we got to get through tonight. You see down 5 o'clock in the morning, south of Coleman, east side of Smith Lake. Now as we shift over here and talk more about northeast Alabama, a very warm night, strong southerly winds. The threat really doesn't start moving in until after 2 o'clock in the morning. But boy, nasty looking line of thunderstorms from Fayetteville just east of Ardmore back to the southwest of Athens and Decatur. And this is all moving east. The line itself is going to be moving east at about 50 miles per hour, but the individual storms within that line may be moving at speeds close to 70 miles per hour to the northeast, and that's what will create that damaging wind. As we take a look at 3:35 in the morning, the Woodville, Paint Rock area, New Hope, Owens Crossroads, Hampton Cove, East and South Huntsville. Also a little flare up here south of Madison down to Somerville. This will continue moving east. It'll be forced up Sand Mountain. We'll have to watch for spin ups there as well. So all along this line, we may get to the point where we're looking at severe thunderstorm warnings that you need to be seeking shelter in an interior hallway, things like that, because we could see those winds again approach 75 miles per hour. And by 5 o'clock in the morning, it is over, and it is all over, and the problem is there for Georgia. Just since we've been talking here at 10:53, they just issued a new tornado warning for that storm. That storm there is going to end up, let's take a look at this real quick, and then I'll end this. This one's going to end up close to somewhere south of Columbia. We'll have to watch that one. Again, that'll be in Middle Tennessee. That's not going to affect Florence. What is going to affect Florence is that area back to the southwest. So again, we will be doing streaming on all the stations, the WFF pages, and apps. You guys take care. Be safe out there.